You are Steve Jobs. Yes, that's the title of my presentation today. And it's a short fictional story that takes us all back to the time when Steve Jobs, that's you, is returning to Apple after nearly a decade away from it. But first, a small mention of my company, Zoho Corporation, and the immensely interesting work we do there. At Zoho, we offer a wide suite of award-winning applications spanning the domains of online business, productivity, and collaboration. Customers use Zoho applications to run their business processes, manage their information, and be more productive while at the office or on the go without having to worry about expensive or outdated hardware or software. And my team specializes in making Zoho's cloud services available at the palm of your hand wherever you go. Ideas. Ideas are strange beasts. One never knows when a great one is coming. One can't go looking for a great idea. And they say even an army can't stop a great idea whose time has come. But the problem with ideas? You may not be seated in your office room with your fingers hovering expectantly over your laptop's keyboard when it strikes you. That is the problem. We all know where Archimedes, the great philosopher scientist, was when he realized the principle behind buoyancy. And Newton couldn't have been much luckier either. He looks pretty underprepared for what the Apple did to him. But today's story is not about what the Apple did to somebody. It's about what somebody did to Apple. Yes, you are Steve Jobs. You have spent 10 long years in shame, away from the limelight, nursing your wounds, suffering in silence, and you have been invited back into Apple. You have been tasked with breathing new life into this terminally ill patient. You are Steve Jobs, but you are late. Late for your welcome back presentation. Late because you haven't got your punchline yet. That one abiding idea which will arrest your audience, distort their reality field, and bend their will to dance to your tunes. And as you rack your brains and struggle hard and squeeze and fidget, nothing happens. And as you resignedly pass through the turnstiles at the airport, it strikes you. Yes, that's it. That moment of epiphany. You see, Apple in your absence has been piling up product lines and expanding into multiple variations and subcategories so that the Apple inventory looks something like this. Apple II, Apple III, Apple II SE, Apple GS, Macintosh XL, Macintosh SE, Macintosh Plus, Quadra, Quadro. Ouch! And the idea you get? Channelize this whole chaos of product names and types into four. Just four buckets. Just as the turnstile professionally splits the oncoming flood of people into one of four organized streams, four. Just four buckets. So after a lot of cutting and swiping and modifying and morphing, you are left with this magic quadrant. The iMac, that's the desktop for the consumer. The Power Mac, that's the desktop for the professional. The iBook, that's the notebook for the consumer. The PowerBook, that's the notebook for the professional. In fact, so good was that idea that the same magic quadrant continues to rule the world even today. You have the iMac, the Mac Pro, the MacBook Air, and the MacBook Pro. And to wind up your presentation with an amazingly pithy, short and sweet, inspiring call to action, you say, think different. The rest, as they say, is history. The power of a simple idea in the hands of the right people can indeed work magic. That's the almost vulgar Apple sales growth in the past 15 years. But wait, let us roll backward in time and look at how you, Steve Jobs, actually pulled this presentation off. Remember, you were short of time, running late, about to board the flight, go offline. Your secretary waiting for instructions, completely underprepared. So how did you pull this off? How did your presentation get ready by the time you reached the venue? What we are going to see over the next few slides is how you, Steve, conceived the idea on your mobile device, that will be shown to the left, and how your secretary, Katie, on the right, added the finishing touches in time for you to deliver it to the audience. You see, immediately after the idea struck you, you fired up the first draft app as seen on screen and started jotting down your ideas. And to the right is your secretary waiting with the Zoho Show service open on a web browser. You wanted a graphic representing all the various Apple products and so left a note to your secretary. With the full-blown workstation at his desk, Katie finds it very easy to pull up the necessary images and make a collage out of it. In plain text, you lay out your idea. The universe of Apple products divided among 4 simple, distinguishable product categories. It gets translated into the necessary lines and boxes, and the relevant images materialize appropriately. And to close your talk, you finish off with your call to action message to an eager audience waiting to celebrate your comeback. Your note guides your secretary to add the relevant graphic and headline message in large font. Just before boarding your flight, you hit sync, and the draft version of your presentation containing the kernel of your ideas gets transferred via the cloud to the waiting design team. But well, that's just half the job. How do you captivate the audience with your presentation? How do you usher in the mobile era? How do you, so to speak, cut the umbilical cord with the desktop and the laptop? How do you untether yourself? How do you engage with your listeners? By moving around, of course, like this. By holding the key to your whole presentation in your palm. By swiping about to move from slide to slide. By tapping to look at speaker notes. By pressing and dragging to simulate a laser pointer. That's how. So presenting Show Mode, your mobile companion from Zoho Show. What you see here are the exact same screens that greeted me when I was using the Show Mode app today to make this very presentation. This screen shows you the collection of presentations that I had to choose from for delivering. As you see, I chose the first one. All you now need is a special passcode in the form of a URL, and any computer connected to the internet, not just this one here, can now become your slave, following your presentation slide after slide, like this one just did. I even get a glimpse of the upcoming slides. I can have a quick glimpse of time elapsed and so on. In fact, I can even peek at some side notes I have jotted down for myself. For example, in this particular slide, I had wanted to ask you, what slogan comes to mind the moment you think of the brand Apple? A great presentation, in our opinion, is made up of 3 main ingredients. An amazing idea, sealed in a beautiful envelope, delivered by a skillful messenger. A plus B plus C, a great presentation. An amazing idea, a beautiful envelope, a competent messenger. An amazing idea, a beautiful envelope, a competent messenger. Are you guys getting it? Yes, with your first draft, Zoho Show and Show Mode, we can confidently say that we have got you covered. I just used a fictitious story and backdrop to introduce to you some of the interesting attempts we are making at Zoho to launch tools for enhancing the productivity of the senior executive on the go. In this particular case, we empowered a visionary on the go to get his idea across and start a movement. We seem to be having all the right tools now. All we are waiting for? Your next big idea.